49 fights, 49 wins, 43 knockouts, 0 losses. Rocky Marciano retired a reigning champion, a feat not repeated by Ali, Robinson, Leonard, Mayweather, and many other greats. No flashy footwork, no flashy persona, just a 5'10" 185-pound human wrecking ball with a pair of gloves. Blood-soaked victories, countless shattered records, and brutal knockouts. The short and stocky heavyweight champion didn't just win fights, he ended careers. Marciano lived fast and died young. While he's certainly not forgotten by boxing aficionados, why don't we really hear his name these days? The answer is layered and complex. Here's the story of the greatest boxer you don't know. Born in 1923 to an Italian family in Massachusetts, Rocco Francis Marchigiano contracted pneumonia at 18 and almost died. As he grew up, he had two main goals. One, to become a major league catcher, and two, not to work in a shoe factory like his father. Little Rocky worked out at a local gym, where he was first introduced to boxing. Dropped out of school after the Chicago Cubs farm team denied him for not having a strong enough right arm. Little did they know it was powerful enough to knock 43 men out in 49 fights. He did odd jobs for a while, including a floor sweeper position at a shoe factory. In the Second World War, Marciano was drafted into the army. His officers recognized his boxing talent, and so began his amateur career. Rocky's 8-4 amateur record may not have seemed much on paper, but anyone who'd witnessed the man train could notice the potential. Marciano was the single most determined athlete, and his style showed it. He wasn't the fastest or the biggest, but he packed a mean punch and never took a step back. Looking at it today, most of the things he was doing back then are considered amateurish, flat-footed in a narrow stance and making unorthodox movements. But as they say, it only takes one, and he believed in his ability to find that one shot. Relentless forward pressure, ridiculous cardio, excellent balance, good head movement, and iron chin, and bombs in both hands. The man was a terrifying machine. In the first fight of his professional career, he knocked out a local fighter inside 3 rounds, but he was still one of several undefeated boxers at the beginning of their career. It wasn't until 1951 that he started making headlines. Joe Louis is widely regarded as one of the all-time greats. His 25 consecutive title defenses constitute the single longest reign of any champion in boxing history. However, many were sad to see financial troubles bring their hero out of retirement and into the ring. Up-and-comer Marciano reportedly said that this is the last guy on earth I want to fight. The youngster used to run 30 miles every day, nearly 4 more than a marathon, and his relentless pressure proved too much for the 37-year-old Louis. Marciano dropped Louis with a left hook in the 8th before knocking him through the ropes a few seconds later. It was the final fight of a boxing hero, and in the back, Marciano consoled him in measured words. "I'm sorry, Joe." He had captured the public's imagination. Now it was time to take the belt. His target, Jersey Joe Walcott, the man who, after many unsuccessful championship attempts, had finally knocked out Ezzard Charles in their 3rd fight. At 39, he was the oldest heavyweight champion up to that point. Despite his age, Walcott had good technique and was a strong puncher. The fight proved to be a tough test for the undefeated Rocky. In the first round, Walcott's left hook floored Marciano for the first time in his career. The Italian, known for his grit, got up from the canvas, kept moving forward, but his opponent was no slouch. He met him punch for punch. It was a bloodbath. Walcott would take round after round, but the effect of Rocky's punches could be seen on his face. By the 13th round, Marciano had broken him down, and then it came. A right hand that contorted Walcott's face one way, and a left hook for good measure. No reel of boxing's most savage knockouts is complete without the image of Walcott's hand on the ropes as his body slumps down. A rematch 8 months later went as expected. The young buck caught the now 39-year-old veteran with a left hook and an uppercut in the very first round, who couldn't beat the referee's count. 1954. Marciano's 3rd title defense came against the former heavyweight champion, Ezzard Charles. Including his 2 victories over Jersey Joe Walcott, Charles had put together 8 title defenses before he ran into Walcott's uppercut in their 3rd fight. After the loss, he went and knocked his opponent out with a vicious left hook in a title eliminator. And when the title fight began, Charles's superior technique saw him through 4 good rounds. His movement and bodywork baffled Marciano, who had a gash over his left eye by this point. But in the middle rounds, Marciano's power and resilience started to pay dividends. He was finding his rhythm, yet he had got as good as he gave. Despite being ahead on the scorecards, his face was a bloody mess. By the 10th round, Marciano hit his stride. He was fighting as he always did. Constant pressure, good bodywork, inside fighting, forcing opponents against the ropes, wearing them down, and unleashing lethal combos, vicious uppercuts and hooks from hell. The two warriors kept at it. With his right eye closed, Charles was still swinging. He became the first man, and remains the only man, to take Marciano the complete 15 rounds. After a hard-fought battle, the judges awarded a unanimous decision to the champion. The highly anticipated rematch was quite the affair. In the second round, a Marciano flurry floored Charles, but the challenger quickly got on his feet and survived the round. Marciano got a head start in the head before a twist at the end of round 6 threatened to change everything. The champion's nose was broken. Marciano marched on with grim determination, as the commentators kept saying, and delivered a massive knockout in the 8th before finishing the job with a combination. After the 2 fights, Charles, like many of Marciano's victims, would never be the same again. Marciano's final fight came against a fellow Hall of Famer, Archie Moore. After winning the light heavyweight strap in 1952, Moore slowly worked his way through the heavyweight division. He publicly rallied for a fight against the champion, and after his win over Nino Valdez, his wish was granted. Despite the anticipation, Marciano stepped into the ring as a massive favourite against the 41-year-old challenger. The fight started slowly, with Moore's jab keeping the champion at range. In the second round, his counter dropped the champion for the second and last time in his career. Rocky rose from the canvas and started making his way into the fight. Over the next few rounds, the pendulum started to swing. Marciano's relentless pressure and power were too much for the older challenger, who was knocked down twice in the 6th. Now it was one-way traffic. Marciano knocked him down for a 3rd time in the 8th, but Moore was saved by the bell. And the final blows, a couple of left hooks, arrived in the 9th to finish the fight and close an illustrious Hall of Fame career. Rocky retired after the fight at a young age of 32. No flashy comebacks, no hogging the spotlight. He was gone. He did make the headlines a decade later when he died in a plane crash at the ripe age of 45. So why didn't Rocky stick around for long? Why is he not mentioned in the same breath as Liston, Ali, Foreman, Lewis, and other great heavyweights? There are a few reasons for this. 1. Most of his wins came against older gentlemen, and people use this as an excuse to discredit his wins. But the truth is, you can only beat the man in front of you. 2. He retired early because there were no clear challengers to his throne. Had he stayed longer, we could have seen him face the likes of Floyd Patterson and Sonny Liston. 3. The new era of the heavyweight division was very attractive to the masses. Ali had the gift of the gab, Liston had the threatening persona, Foreman had the power of the gods in his hands, and Tyson had the spectacle. Not to mention the cultural shift that came in with Ali. Compare this to the strong-minded Italian-American who was more of a steam engine than a showman, and it's not difficult to see why his legacy is underappreciated. But as far as the heavyweights go, Rocky Marciano was and is one of the all-time greats. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe to our channel to continue seeing interesting combat sports stories from us. What do you think about Rocky Marciano? Does his legacy surpass that of guys like Joe Louis, Jack Johnson, Larry Holmes, George Foreman, and Lennox Lewis? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you in the next one.